How Consciousness Opens Doors to Higher Dimensions. This is authored by Dr. Yuhan Dong and PhD and Mackay Albert via Epoch Times. Dr. Eben Alexander was at the height of his career as a neurosurgeon. With a doctorate in medicine from Duke University and a residency from Harvard, he believed he understood consciousness in the brain. However, on November 2008, a rare and severe bacterial infection attacked his brain, challenging everything he thought he knew. He fell into a coma and 7 days later awakened with a complete physical recovery, and yet while asleep, his mind was not idle. He recalls that his consciousness has gone to another dimension, a place furnished with clouds, shimmering beings, and ethereal sceneries. He said, "I was in a place of clouds, big, puffy, pink-white ones that showed up sharply against the deep blue black sky. And higher than the clouds, immeasurably higher, flocks of transparent orbs, shimmering beings, arced across the sky, leaving long stream-like lines behind them." Alexander wrote in his book, A Proof of Heaven. He said, "I witnessed all of that realm in all of its majesty." Alexander recounted during an interview with Epoch Times, "Though I did not know where I was or even what I was absolutely sure of one thing. This place I'd suddenly found myself in was completely real," he said. Similarly, Dr. Sam Parnia, a medical doctor and research scientist, observed that 7% of resuscitated patients recounted visits to an unearthly dimension during their near-death experiences, the NDEs, an experience people sometimes have on the precipice of death and may remember after recovery. Further, Dr. Pim van Lommel, a cardiologist from the Netherlands, reported that 29% of people with NDEs describe entering a vast, beautiful realm beyond our physical reality. These shared elements have prompted experts to discuss the origin of consciousness. Can our consciousness be linked and travel to a dimension unperceptible to the human eyes? While people of faith say they've had answers all along, medical doctors are still probing, and physicists claim they are close to finding the answer. Multiple dimensions? Physicists recognize that there may be numerous dimensions. Modern physics embraces the concept of multidimensional space and parallel universes as a serious scientific data. Leading theories include string theory and M theory. String theory posits that the fundamental building blocks of the universe are not just particles but tiny vibrating filaments or strings. Imagine analyzing an apple. As you magnify it, you discover layers of structures down into cells, molecules, and atoms. Conventional theories usually stop at subatomic particles. String theory posits that the infinitesimal small subatomic particles are actually strands of energy vibrating in different patterns, much like the strings of a violin. Each distinct vibration produces unique particles, creating a cosmic symphony that constitutes all matter. String theories are given credence because they provide a framework to unify the fundamental forces of nature, gravity, electromagnetic force, and nuclear force, into one consistent theory. However, string theory posits a universe with at least 10 dimensions, which is integral to its formulation and mathematical consistency. On a related note, M theory is a concept in physics that combines different theories about tiny strings, which are thought to make up the fabric of the universe. It suggests 11 dimensions instead of the 4 we experience, 3 spatial dimensions of space, width, height, and depth, and 1 of time. M theory aims to explain how the forces of nature, including gravity, work together in a single framework, making it a potential theory of everything. And while the string and M theories are mathematically rich and elegant frameworks that help explain certain aspects of particle physics and gravity, they do not have empirical, verifiable predictions. Nevertheless, in the aggregate, These phenomena open the door to ideas about multi-dimensions. Other dimensions, though invisible, may exist simultaneously among us. Out of the painting, John Burke, who has a degree in engineering and authored multiple books on NDEs, offered an analogy. Imagine we lived inside a flat, two-dimensional black and white painting. In such a scenario, we would experience only length and width, up and down and side to side, but not depth. We could not even conceive of it, he told Epoch Times in an interview. Burke suggested that NDEs might be like our two-dimensional consciousness, peeling away from the flat painting and entering a three-dimensional world, a realm that has always existed beyond our perception. From this new viewpoint, we could look back at our flat world and understand it's part of a greater dimensional reality. When our consciousness leaves the body, it's likely to enter these wider multidimensional spaces. Michael Pravica, who holds a doctorate in condensed matter physics from Harvard University and is a professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, told Epoch Times. Now about the tunnel. Individuals with NDEs often describe passing through a tunnel-like expanse with a light at the end before entering the other dimension. Ned Doherty, a former director for the International Association for Near-Death Studies, wrote about this personal tunnel experience in his book, Fast Lane to Heaven. In it, he explains that after losing physical consciousness, he was drawn to an immense tunnel. At the distance opening of the tunnel, he saw another universe. And Doherty wrote, I pondered the purpose of the tunnel. It seemed to stretch from Earth into the universe for a distant measure in light years. Interestingly, the tunnels described by people who have had NDEs bear a striking resemblance to a concept explored in string theory where wormholes connect different dimensions. Additionally, as discussed in the series, physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hamerford proposed that microtubules in the brain may serve as quantum receivers of consciousness. These microtubules also have a unique structure akin to tunnel-like objects. In a 2022 study published in the Annals of the New York Academy of Science, Sam Parnia and a team of medical experts from prominent universities provided the first comprehensive medical consensus documenting the existence of NDEs. Notably, the team identified tunnel experiences as one of the main characteristics of NDEs. The tunnel, according to the study, appeared to be a connection to another dimension where people report seeing magnificent luminous beings and relive their entire lives in a way unconstrained by time, a phenomenon called the life review. Timeless whole life? Of 617 near-death experiences collected by the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation, published in a 2014 study, 14% of the near-death experiences experienced a life review. This experience felt like watching a stereoscopic movie of their life. Overall, 50% of near-death experience survivors in the 1976 Tangshan earthquake were reported to have experienced a life review. 50%. And according to Bernard Carr, Emeritus Professor of Mathematics and Astronomy at Queen's Mary University of London, many elements of NDE, such as the tunnel phenomenon, intense light, and life reviews, align with the idea of transitioning through and interacting with higher dimensions. He interprets these experiences not as hallucinations or brain-generated phenomena, but as glimpses into the true multidimensional nature of reality. In his book, Evidence of the Afterlife, Dr. Jeffrey Long, a practicing radiation oncologist and researcher who has studied NDEs for more than 25 years, recorded a case of a man named Roger who was returning from Quebec City when he had an out-of-body experience during a car crash. Roger recalled, I then began to see my whole life unfolding before me like a film projected on a screen, from babyhood to adult life, and it was so real, he said. He said he experienced the experience as more realistic than a 3D movie, as he could sense the feelings of the people he interacted with over the years and the good or bad emotions he made them feel. This is also what our saints in Christian Orthodoxy tell us goes on with a soul after the biological passing, okay? That, yes, he sees and he feels well, the eyes of God would see everybody feeling. And he basically judges himself, the soul judges himself that way. Now, those who experience a life review during a near-death experience often recount it with a deep sense of realism. This includes re-experiencing long-forgotten events, often confirmed to have occurred, as well as a deep understanding of the thoughts and feelings of others during past interactions. And according to a study published in Missouri Medicine, these life reviews are consistently accurate. Life reviews appear to access a dimension where all events are recorded in their entirety, and time flows differently, allowing the person to review their entire life instantly. The book Lessons from the Light, co-authored by Kenneth Ring, Professor Emeritus Psychology at University of Connecticut, who published nearly 100 papers on NDEs, recorded a case of a man who reported re-experiencing every event in 22 years of his life. The brightness showed me every second of all those years in exquisite detail in what seemed only an instant of time, he said. It's a reliving of events, not just remembering events, said Alexander. He explains that during the life review, if you had acted selfishly towards others during your lifetime, you would experience those events again, but now from the viewpoint of the people who experience the suffering. Isn't that terrible? He believes that this is where the concept of hell originates. Those who inflicted pain and suffering during their lives would have to confront and experience the same pain in the life review, during life review. And this should nudge people to realize that we really are all in this together and need to take care of each other and get along, he said. And this is on Zirahedge, authored by Yu Hong Dong, MD, and PhD, and Mackay Albert via Epoch Times. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.